And welcome to Story Station with Words Alive, a list of ideas and tips for big people looking at books with little people. We know kids learn best when they do, when they use all their senses, and when they play. Play is children's work and the most natural mode for learning. One of our favorite tools at Words Alive to help this are wordless books, or books that have very few words. Two great examples are Have You Seen My Duckling by Nancy Teferi and Chalk by Bill Thompson. Both of these books have very few or no words, and the reason that wordless books or books with very few words can be so powerful is because it gives kids a chance to be the one telling the story by interpreting the illustrations that they see. They're also incredible tools for families who speak other languages other than the books that are largely available in English. We'll get better at that, I'm sure, publishers. And it gives kids a chance to hear different people's reading styles. Because when there are no words for you to read off the page, everyone's interpretation of those illustrations are going to look a little differently. So one of the cool things we can do to connect a wordless or a book with very few words to play and to something kids can do is to tie it to some of the actions that you see in the story, to act out the things that you see. So for example, in Have You Seen My Duckling? It's a sweet story about a family of ducks, one of them of which takes off from the nest early in the morning. And then the rest of the story focuses on the rest of the duck family's attempt to find that baby duckling. And you might notice on every page of this book, you can see that baby duckling moving around to different places on the pages. That would be an example of something really fun for our little people to look for on every page. The only words that appear in this book are the words in the title, Have You Seen My Duckling? Where the mom is asking various animals and birds if they have seen her duckling and maybe to help her find him. So one of the interesting things is that it would probably be very common when you ask your little person, oh, do you see the lost duckling on this page? They'd probably default to saying things like there or here or pointing at them. One of the things we can do to help broaden our kids' vocabulary when looking at a book like this is to model really descriptive language. So for example, on this page, instead of here or there's the baby duck, you could say something like, oh look, he's hiding behind the tree, or he's hiding among the purple flowers. And that's one of the powerful things about books in general, is the vocabulary kids hear that might be beyond what happens in normal everyday conversation. You may not talk about trees or flowers in everyday conversation to live your life, but those opportunities come up when you're looking at a book together. One of the things we also know can be really powerful to help kids build their vocabulary is to attach an experience, or especially an experience with a person they have a loving relationship with, as kind of an anchor or a memory bank for what those words mean in the real world. So a great way to extend that for a book like Have You Seen My Duckling might be to do some of the things that explain what some of those words you're using might mean. For example, under, around, on top of, behind would be great examples of words that are prepositions, things that can be a little harder for kids to learn the meaning of because we only really use them when they're connected to other things, other words, behind the tree, under the dock, through a tunnel, for example. So one of the things we can do to create an anchor for that at home would be to set up an obstacle course. That's something we can do in our home, right where we are with the things that we have. So one idea would be to write some of these words on a piece of paper so kids can see them, like behind, around, through, or over, and place them around your home and ask your kids to follow you through movements around your home that explain what those words are. You might go around the sofa together. You might go under a table together. You might jump over a broom. And the cool thing is that kids are natural explorers and they're very good at helping us build these kinds of things alongside us. So definitely encourage your little person to help you move those words around. Put them somewhere else. For example, instead of around the sofa, ask them, what else could we go around in the house? Let's change up our course. You could do this all day long if you've got the energy, because we know our little people do. And it's a way that they can understand what that word means in reference to different objects. You could also do that for small children who may not be using a ton of words yet, or who may not be quite as mobile, toddlers, things like that. You might sit a box in front of you and have a toy, and you could put the toy inside the box and say inside the box. Or you might put it next to the box and say next to the box. And then ask your little person to put the toy in a new place and tell them where it is. It's inside the box. It's outside the box. It's behind the rocking chair. Things like that. So maybe try something like, can you put this toy in a new place? And then you describe wherever it is that they put it down. Hope you enjoy this idea, and definitely check out Wordless or books with few words if you have them available right now, or where you can find them online. Definitely check out Words Alive reading list for these two examples, Chalk by Bill Thompson and Have You Seen My Duckling by Nancy Tefuri. Thank you.